What is going on, everybody? It's Alex back with another video, and today I want to talk about GTA 6 and the content that we're going to be getting at launch. So if you guys have been living under a rock, you may not know that GTA 6 is in development. Obviously, we don't have any official confirmation from Rockstar, Take-Two Interactive, but it's very obvious that it is being made. Take-Two Interactive has already announced in an earnings call that they're in their strongest gaming pipeline in history, meaning that they have more money and more epic games coming out than ever. And not to mention that right now they're spending $230 million in research and development for these games, which is the highest we've seen in 5 years. I guess this information doesn't necessarily confirm that it's another GTA game, but let's be honest, everyone knows that GTA 6 is being made. It's the best-selling AAA game ever, and not to mention it's made more money than any video game in history. Yes, I understand the arguments that they're still putting a lot of work into GTA 5 and they're still making a lot of money in GTA Online. However, it's definitely slowing down. Not necessarily the money, but the amount of content that we're getting in GTA 5 seems to be less and less often. You could definitely attribute this to the release of Red Dead Redemption 2. However, I don't really think so. I think GTA 6 is being made, and that's what's taking up all the resources. But with that being said, although GTA is still getting updates like crazy, it's only getting updates in the online sector, and it's not getting any updates or any changes whatsoever when it comes to the single player story mode. And honestly, this is raising a lot of concerns. Although people really like the online, and that's where people are going to spend more money and more time in, there's definitely still a strong community that likes the single player, and it doesn't seem like Rockstar is really catering towards those people at all. So recently, during an interview with GamesIndustry.biz, Take-Two CEO Strauss Zelnick basically talked about the hybrid model that they've been using for GTAs. And basically what he says kind of worries me a lot. What he says is, it's possible that games may be a bit shorter than they were in certain instances. It's possible that the ability to deliver content on an ongoing basis for a long time after an initial release of a hit would mean that perhaps that initial release wouldn't be as long in terms of number of hours of gameplay as previously had been demanded in a world where that was all you were getting. So basically what he was talking about in this interview was the hybrid model that they really go to approach when they're making these games. They essentially have the launch game, which is the single player campaign. I mean, there's a reason why they released the single player campaign and then released the multiplayer later. GTA 5 did this, Red Dead Redemption 2 did this. That is the game that they put the most amount of money into, and they really want people to see their hard work, because they realize after that initial sector, once people get the online, that's where they're going to be playing, and that's where they're going to be putting their money in. So basically they have the single player campaign that they are shipping at launch. It's very static, it's not going to move, it's not going to change, it's not going to update. And then they have the multiplayer, which is kind of a games as a service model where they're continuously updating it. They are constantly pouring more money into it and everything like that to keep people playing and keep people spending money. But basically what scares me about the quote that I just showed you guys is that he's hinting towards a smaller campaign. I mean, he literally talks about the number of hours that you would be spending on this area will be smaller. Honestly, that really scares me, and I don't like the idea of that at all. I am definitely someone who's going to play through the campaign and then probably not really touch it again because I'm going to be spending the rest of the time in multiplayer. However, I definitely want the campaign to be really long and really immersive. The idea that they're going to be spending less and less money and less time in the campaign just to capitalize more and more on the multiplayer really bothers me. I understand it from a business standpoint, making the campaign, doing all the voice acting and everything, it is exponentially more expensive than making it online, but still, it's something that people really like, and I really feel like adds a lot of value to the game. So the fact that he's hinting towards it actually getting smaller really leaves me worried. But what really worries me is if you look back, you can actually see this already happening in the difference between GTA 5 and GTA 4. The world as a whole, including the AI, the buildings, everything is far less interactive in GTA 5 than it was in GTA 4. You could really feel immersed, you know, AI really interacted with you a lot more in GTA 4 than it does GTA 5. I mean, in my opinion, the campaign in GTA 5 was all around better, and I'm not saying the campaign in GTA 6 wouldn't be necessarily better, but I think to a certain extent, I would like it to be longer. But what that tells me is that when they were developing GTA 5, they looked at what they had in GTA 4 and thought that these systems were just kind of unnecessary, so they'd save money not implementing them into the current game and then put more and more of their money and resources into the multiplayer. Again, I'm a multiplayer type gamer, that's what I'm more interested in, but I don't really want to see a sacrifice of the single player to give me what I want. I feel like that's one of the reasons why Rockstar as a developer is looked at so highly. It seems like every game they put out is kind of a no compromise type deal. They pour a stupid amount of money into the game, but they also create the game that everyone wants to play. I mean, when GTA 5 came out out back in 2013, it felt like it was a next generation game. There was nothing on the market that was like GTA 5 at all. And honestly, 6 years later in 2019, I really kind of feel the same way. I feel like in a lot of aspects, GTA 5 is still on another level than any game we currently have. So having this information come out, basically talking about how they're gonna be making sacrifices in the single player to cater more towards the online, really bothers me. I feel like a move like this could take away from Rockstar's reputation quite a lot, actually. But again, the reason they're doing this is because, after all, Rockstar is a company. At the end of the day, as a company, you have to make the most money you possibly can. And yes, of course, the best way to make money is to please your audience, but there also has to be some kind of happy medium. If you're just handing out all of this content for free, you're not making your money and you're pouring millions and millions and millions of dollars into it. I mean, there's a reason they make everything so astronomically expensive and online, because if it was cheap, they wouldn't be making any money on shark cards, and they put millions and millions of dollars into every single free update that we get. Now, whether or not these shark cards are more expensive than they need to be is a conversation for another day, but without a doubt, it needs to have some kind of currency in there, or else they wouldn't be making the money that they're pouring into it. I know a lot of people are looking at how much money GTA has made, but you also have to look at how much money they put into it. It is an extreme amount of money that people just don't take into account. But once again, the single player campaigns are astronomically expensive to make. I'm talking with GTA 5, hundreds of millions of dollars to make that campaign, and the campaign doesn't make any recurring money. People pay the initial $60 and they get everything in the campaign and will never spend another penny. But again, with online, people are throwing money at Rockstar to be able to get all of the content that they want, and that is exactly what Rockstar wants as a company. I mean, I can pretty much guarantee you right now that that is the reason why we never got that infamous story DLC for GTA 5. There's not really a good way to give us that DLC, because they spoiled us with quote-unquote free DLC for the past few years, and if they gave us the story DLC for free, they would have put a lot of money into it and not made any return. So the only way they would be able to do it is to charge X amount of money to be able to play the story DLC, but then people would get upset that all of a sudden they're charging for DLC. So really, it's a lose-lose situation for them. Either they give us a DLC for free and lose a lot of money on it, or they give us a DLC that's premium, we have to pay for it, and then they get a lot of backlash because all of a sudden they're charging for DLC, or they take the route that they're taking where they just never actually give us the DLC that they talked about. So as a consumer, it's pretty easy to be annoyed with them, but looking at it from their eyes, they're kind of in a rough situation. So honestly, this makes me a little sad. It kind of upsets me, but it's not necessarily confirmed, because let's look at Red Dead Redemption 2. The campaign in Red Dead Redemption 2 seemed all around bigger and better than Red Dead Redemption 1, and honestly, in a sense, it seemed bigger and better than GTA 5. I was playing on a standard Xbox One, not even a One X, and it was absolutely beautiful. Other than weird horse physics where you seem to hit any tree that you came near, the game worked really well, and the scale of it was just insane. To me, that single player campaign did not seem like they took any sacrifices or taking any steps back in any way, shape, or form, so maybe that's the route that they're taking. Maybe in this interview, Strauss Zelnick was just talking about something else, and he wasn't necessarily talking about the full scale of the single player, but it's something to think about. So what do you guys think about GTA 6 not having as big of a campaign as GTA 5 and some of the other games? Personally, I think it could go either way. From a business standpoint, it makes a lot of sense for them to scale it back, and honestly, it wouldn't surprise me if they scale it back. But on the other hand, this is a GTA game, this is Rockstar, they seem to do everything bigger and better, so I would really like to see it just be a bigger and better campaign than we got in GTA 5 and even Red Dead Redemption 2. But once again, let me know what you guys think down in the comments. But that does it for today's video. If you enjoyed it, make sure to drop a like, make sure to subscribe if you haven't already. Thank you guys for the support. Peace out. My motto wheel takes me all over the place, and wherever I go, I'm in minds and hearts. Don't need to climb stairs when I'm climbing these charts. Lilith, Roland, the other two dudes didn't come to my birthday party. Rude, but they all found time to go fight the warrior. Like this would be like some